There is not a single franchise that defines a generation quite like the Power Rangers. So if you bring up one, we gotta talk about them all. Ooh, no, that's a lot. Me personally, I grew up in the Zordon era. That's Mighty Morphin to In Space, so we're gonna cover those. And this whole thing started as all epic tales do, with some 90s teenagers and some reused Japanese footage. The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers followed a group of teenagers with attitude as they do battle with evil monsters using ancient alien tech. This show determined your favorite color for the next 10 years and convinced an entire generation of children that they were experts at hand-to-hand combat. I had the toys, I had a costume, I had a Megazord, and of course I had the movie on VHS, which I still maintain is America's greatest cinematic achievement of all time. Now most shows after several seasons in a movie call it quits, but mommy and daddy still had disposable income, so that meant more toys and more seasons. I personally thought Zeo was a fine follow-up. The villains weren't quite as good as Rita and Zed, but honestly, that's a tough act to follow. But honestly, this franchise had a whole ton of goodwill at this point. There was literally nothing it could do wrong. Okay, that last statement has an asterisk. Going from the Mighty Morphin movie to the Turbo movie was like going from Thor Ragnarok to Thor 4. And as for the show itself, as a child, the concept never made sense to me. Why would you have a team of kung fu superheroes based entirely around cars? That's a concept so stupid it would never in a million years work. Between all of that and the literal child that the team recruited to fight in their space war, I had just about checked out. It would take a miracle, an act of God, to make me keep watching the series. This right here? This right here? This is peak fiction. Power Rangers in Space takes the space opera feel of Star Wars and mixes it in with hijinks that you would see in the Ninja Turtles. And no, that is not a comparison I'm just pulling out of thin air. This season had twists, turns, deep characters. It had everything in the kitchen sink. It was a terrific send-off to this era of the Power Rangers, and while there will be many, many more seasons, I never was hooked quite like when I was hooked on this. Now, while I did watch several different iterations after In Space, honestly, I don't really have a strong feeling about any of the following seasons. In fact, the only thing that I have a strong opinion on is the movie that came out a few years ago, and honestly, that needs its own video if I'm going to cover it. But as always, I want to hear from you guys. What were your feelings on the Power Rangers, and what is your favorite season? And also, would you like to see me cover the late 2010s Power Rangers movie? Whatever your answers be, leave them in the comments, let me know.